At that moment, it's the question, do you want to put all your effort in preparing you for the jump, or do you walk further? Hello, welcome at the podcast. Today there's a question, somebody asked a question about drugs. They want to boost their spirituality, they want to improve their vision with the third eye, and they ask, are drugs allowed and is it useful? Now, there are two answers on it. The first, yes, it can help you. If you take it on the right way, it can improve your mental side, inside and outside. On the other hand, no, because it will transport you in your timeline of development in a certain place that you can't reach without using those drugs. So the first, yes, it can improve you, of course, but only if you take it on the guidance of somebody who knows what he or she is doing. So if you take a shaman, ayahuasca nowadays is a drug they use to enhance their insights. Yes, you can use it, of course, but don't forget, if you do that, you should be dealing with a long trajectory before you start it. You have to deal with a long trajectory of all different kinds of things you have to do. For instance, you're not allowed to eat meat, you're not allowed to eat sugar, to drink alcohol for at least 3 months. There's a lot of things you have to do to get in that mental state to be open to the ayahuasca. People are drinking last night wine and today I'm going to do the ayahuasca system. Yeah, it doesn't work. Come on, they're fooling themselves. Those shamans are not living for nothing like this. They are living their lives, their asceticism, their cleanness to improve themselves, so they are open to it, they can use it. And a person who's living their life in the Western world is not ready to do that in such a short notice. When I learned to meditate, we trained to train. First what we learned is to sit down, to open yourself, to relax yourself. If you're not relaxed, you're not open, and drugs will open you even more. It is an aid that helps you to improve yourself, and there's nothing wrong with it, only if you have guidance of a person who does know what he or she is doing, living that life, you can make some steps, absolutely. But a lot of people are depending on it. They can only do it when they use those drugs. That's wrong. The person who's doing it, the one who's living this, the shaman, for instance, he or she is living their lives in solitude, in complete quietness, if they can. They're trying to make themselves as pure as possible. And at one point you will notice that you don't need it. It's all superficial. But okay, there are a lot of systems to use drugs, but don't do it on yourself, please. Get somebody who's responsible, who knows the traditions, who honors the traditions, then you will have the full effect of it. Otherwise you won't have the full effect of it, but you're only getting kind of insight of somewhere in a different planet. You see something and it's very nice and you want to reach it, but you can't reach that distance. You're not trained to reach that distance. Your drugs are enhancing your traveling system, your possibility to travel, and you reach that point, and then you come back in yourself, and then I'm so unsatisfied. I need more drugs. That's wrong. Okay. So find somebody who you can trust. Find somebody who is authentic, living this life of using those drugs, but in a very responsible way. Make sure you don't have any underlying problems, heart, lungs, kidneys, whatever, liver, because it can destroy you. So be very, very, very careful, and don't be afraid to stop and restart again. You have to be able to stop at any moment. And not that you say you stop at any moment, but sometimes you have to quit for a year or two to be sure that you're not depending, you're not an addict to it. That's very important. Those insights you get will help you to go further. But at the other hand, if you didn't travel to that point on a personal way, but you travel through drugs to that point, you will not fully understand what you're seeing. You will not fully comprehend what you're seeing. And that's okay, no problem. Some people are very curious. So, now I already spoke about what's not so good about using drugs. You get placed in a different, let's say, time or system or position, and you're not able to go back on your own, or not able to reach the position on your own. I was always taught that slow learning, slow growing is better than fast growing or jumping to somewhere. And I'm not fully agreeing with it, because I've seen examples that it is good to use those things, and sometimes it's good to improve something for a little bit. I know for myself that when we are trained to meditate and somebody has problems with meditation, they can't go into the meditation, or it is possible that sometimes you don't get in that mood or in that flow of meditation. And sometimes a person gets some drugs, some opium, very, very, very little bit of opium, extremely little, really the tiniest bit, and they could meditate again. And next time they couldn't meditate, they didn't get anything. They have to solve the problem themselves. So growing and growing, it takes time. It takes not a year, not a month, not 10 years, maybe 30 or 40 years to get in that state that you really, you get in that habit of really stopping thinking about things, just being yourself. Alright, so that's the difference between somebody who's using enhancement. I always see it as somebody who is using doping to improve their performance. If it's on a physical or on a mental level, I don't care. If it's done right, it can improve yourself on the long stay. But if you do it wrong, and there are so many ways of doing it wrong, and so few ways to do it right, that's more preferable not to do this. Okay. What can you do then to improve it? And that's just exercise. Train. Do your meditation hours. Do your training. Open yourself. Let go of the wish of grabbing things. Let go of the need of having things. Let go of performing. Just be. This is one of the most important and one of the most not looked after rules. We want to reach that goal as soon as possible, but we forget that it costs something. And if you do it wrong, it costs you your health. If you do it physically and you're using lots of anabolic to improve your body strength and stuff like that, so like a bodybuilder, you're growing up, you're using anabols, so you grow faster. Yeah, cool, but it costs you dearly afterwards. The same thing with your mental doping. If you're using that, it can cost you dearly afterwards. There are soft drugs. In Holland, you have those soft drugs, the marijuana, weed. They are soft, so you have a slight improvement. You open yourself more, so you're more willing to see outside of the box, because that's what you're doing. Sometimes people just need that. They need this feeling, this excitement of going out of their own box. But maybe it's better to improve your box quite easily. Not quite easily, it's training, but you improve your box, you make your box bigger. And then there's not so many things that fall out of your box. Alright. I hope this makes things clear. And this is my opinion, this is my teachings, how I've been taught. And until now, I don't see anything that's wrong with it. I would say, if you're doing this, okay, be my guest, try. But with a good person beside you, a person with knowledge and experience. Take your time. This is the most important thing. This is not going fast. Yeah, the jump is fast, but preparing yourself for the jump, it takes a lot of time. Maybe years even. At that moment, it's the question, do you want to put all your effort in preparing you for the jump, or do you walk further? Both are okay. One is not better than the other one, because I've also met people who needed it just to improve themselves, to need it to make the jump, to improve themselves, to know where they're growing to, if they're meditating, if they're going to a spiritual life. So, now the conclusion. There is no good way and there's no bad way. There's only your way. Please, please, please follow your way. All the other ways are also good, maybe, for other people, but your way is the best for you. Thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy your life, and I hope to see you again. Bye.